know, I know Sheimaev was supposed to fight December 19th. You know, he fights at 85 and 70. Come back up to 85. I mean, I think he should stay at 70. I think he could be a champ at 170, but he comes up here to 85, and I'm gonna bang that boy up.
I saw that you called out Khamzat, which I think is a great call out. Just talk to us a little bit about why him, and I think I know the answer, but from the horse's mouth.
He pushed me one time. He had little slick things to say at the interview, his little interview that he had after he pushed me. You know, and it's like
I was thinking he was working in the hotel, like clean the room. I said, go clean my room. He said no. Then I've been angry, you know.
Does that mean Kevin Holland's on your list now as well?
Who is this guy? I don't know this guy. I never seen him before.
Hold on, he physically pushed you?
Yeah, we were kind of like, you know, bickering back and forth, and then he pushed me, and it's like, you know, he pushed me. You know, it's like,
yeah.
He didn't hit me, but he pushed me. You know, it's like, okay. It's like, you know, we can always sign contracts, or we can always, you know, like do something about this. But it's like, doesn't mean there's a bunch of security. You know, it's like, the funny thing is, we see each other again, you know, in the back when we're doing like, you know, drug tests. He's going to go pee. I'm coming back from taking the drug test. And as I walk up, I'm getting ready to fight. And he's kind of sitting there, you know, like he's on his way, and like the security stops and looks like, oh, shit, you know. And he puts his hand up like, fist bump, bro? Like, oh, now you want a fist bump. You want to push me earlier, and now you want a fist bump. Yeah, weird, but whatever.
Did you fist bump him?
No.
No, nothing coming out of the fight with Costa. I tried to fight him several times. I mean, I don't think he wanted any parts of me, you know. So he's a guy that after his fight, he wanted an instant rematch, which that wasn't going to happen. You know, if a guy gets a title shot and you lose, then you got to go back to the drawing board, win a couple, get back in there. So I thought it was perfect. You know, a guy, I won 3 in a row, ranked, 7. For him to get his next fight, I thought that would have been a perfect match, you know, that the UFC would want to set up, that he would want to take. And I think we had one of the two parties on board. I think the UFC would have made that match, but Costa, you know, they weren't trying to fight. So then we just kind of shifted the focus, you know, anybody top 5. That's what we're asking for. Anybody top 5, going to put me in that rim to, you know, get a title shot, get a number 1 contender match. You know, I'm just looking for that because in my career, I've never gotten a title shot, but I fought all these guys who have gotten title shots, and I felt like, you know about this sport, it's a lot with timing. Like you've seen guys with lesser competition that got easier routes to get a title shot versus a guy who fought all these guys and never got a title shot, or fought all these guys and then got a title shot. So I'm just looking to, you know, finally get my title shot. So that's been my focus, of trying to get somebody that's really going to put me in that conversation of getting that.
We envisioned a fight with Max while everything was at a standstill, and I mean, I said it before, a shot at the title, if you want it, I believe you got to go through Max. Some people still consider him the champ after that last fight with the current champ Volkanovski, and a win over him, I believe, puts you next in line. So I couldn't be more excited with the opportunity to go in there with him next.
Max Holloway, he's constantly asked about the Volkanovski trilogy. He's always talking about Volkanovski. Mentally leaving yourself in the last fight can be really detrimental. Do you think that might be a possibility going into this fight? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, he seems to be talking a lot about the champ, and I think to overlook me going into the fight would be a big mistake. I'm always looking for chips on my shoulder, and I'm constantly being overlooked, constantly being counted out, and I enjoy that role. You know, I don't talk as much as some of these other guys, and for me that works. You know, I don't feel like I need to give them any of that locker room material like Bill Belichick says. You know, we go in there, and you know, credit to my opponent, he's a tough fighter, but a win over him puts me next in line.
are you kind of in a way preparing for Zhang, whether you don't have a date yet, but you know that that's probably going to be next? Is that what you're kind of getting yourself into the headspace for?
Yeah, I've been watching Weili ever since I saw her fight Tisha a while back. I sort of had my eye on her, and then especially ever since she became champion, I've been scouting her out and breaking her down, game planning for her, because she's got the belt, so that's really what you have to go off of.
And you said your mentality had changed a bit when you became champ. Did something change for you when you actually had the belt as opposed to when you were fighting for it?
Yeah, I think I forgot a few things. I didn't feel grateful anymore for everything. Like there's one thing to know to be grateful, and then there's another thing to like actually feel grateful for what you have and things like that. So that's probably the biggest change. And then from there, I started to lose myself a little bit, and then I started to notice. I'd say the biggest change was just like not being grateful for things.
Just landed in Vegas, took my first COVID test. We have 2 days in quarantine. Then off to the desert, Abu Dhabi. Let's go.
As far as I know, Conor McGregor is currently in Dubai. I'm not sure exactly when he'll enter our UFC bubble here. I assume late next week or early during his fight week. We'll find out, but he's currently not in here at the moment. I don't got anything super firm to report to you guys right now, but I would say there's good reason to be optimistic. He's back this year against who? I'm not sure, but I think he's keeping a close eye on the McGregor-Poirier fight. Maybe the loser?
Tony Ferguson, went on like a, one of those Instagram posts where it's like, 3,000 words and you need like there's hieroglyphics in there and you need translation. But he was essentially making the point that Khabib didn't really fight anyone before coming over to the UFC. A lot of the fights he had in the regional scene in Russia, his first 16 fights were against people who didn't have winning records, a lot of people who were making their debut or had never had a win. In MMA before. So, he did kind of like, there is an argument to be made that he was padding his stats a little bit before making that jump over to the UFC.
Okay, whilst I'm just, what's the word I'm looking for? Elaborating on what you said. Just look up the record, the professional boxing record of, I don't know what it's like, Floyd Mayweather. Let's go with that. Okay, he's considered the best ever, like Khabib's considered the best ever. So compare his. Sorry, Lewis, one sec, because I guarantee it's like you, Lewis, when you started doing comedy. You were doing it in some shithole or some basement or some kitchen or maybe some cafe, like on New Year's Eve or wherever you are. The point I'm making is you build to that. When I started in the UFC, professional MMA, the guy I fought wasn't very good. You build your way up to it and you fight the best guys when you get, to that level. You shouldn't be fighting good guys at that time. Yeah, and then since he got to the UFC, continue to be undefeated. I mean, I love Tony, but there's no logic in the argument there. Okay, great. Didn't fight the best people prior to the UFC. All right, well, fair enough. You have whatever feelings you want of that. When he got to the UFC, he remained undefeated. He fought excellent competition. He beat Poirier, McGregor, Gagey. There's so many people. I can't think of them all off the top of my head. And he beat them all. So what he did before the UFC shouldn't even matter.
Man, this is some bullshit! Boo this man!